Okay, this is the review for Module 3. We're going to look first of all at the first part of the test, which is equations of lines. And it's actually split into two sections. So we're going to look when you're given a graph to figure out what happens. Now, for this section specifically, when you look at the test, you're more likely to get one picture and then four equations to match it up. Whereas when you did this on the last one, you were given, on the last test in Unit 2, you were given one equation and then four graphs. So I'm going to try and work from the graphs to find out what the equations are rather than the other way around, because that'll be more realistic for us. Now, as I can do these in any order, I'm going to start with the horizontal and the vertical ones first, because I think they're probably the easier ones. So as this is a vertical line, I'm going to start with the letter V, and then one of our keywords is VUX. So VUX reminds us that this line has undefined slope, but it also reminds us that our equation starts with x equals. Now, as I look around at the equations, I only see one that starts with x equals here, so it looks like it's going to be x equals 2. And the reason is because it goes through 2 on the x-axis. So 7 and 4 would go together. When you look at the nearpod activity, they're not going to be numbered 1 through 12 like this, but I thought that would make it easiest for us to figure out which ones go together. For number 11, I can see this time I have a horizontal line, so H for horizontal, and then our other keyword that goes with this section is HOI. So HOI reminds us that, first of all, it has zero slope, that's the middle part, but it also reminds us that our equation is y equals. So look where it goes through y equals on the y-axis, which is 1, and then we can pick those two together as well. So I'll draw a triangle for this one to show you that 11 and 9 go together. Now I'll pick a different color. I've noticed also here there's two equations that have negative slope and two that have positive slope. So this one's going up and this one's going up. So I'm going to do the ones with positive slope this time. So not easy to see from here on the squares, but it certainly looks like this one goes up 1, 2, 3 squares, and then across 1 square. So 3 divided by 1 is 3. And if you remember, the number in front of the x actually tells you what the slope is. So it looks like this one. Probably more importantly, it goes through 0 on the y-axis here. So that means that there's going to be nothing at the end here either. So 8 and 5 will also go together. Now, I kind of already know 12 and 6 go together because it's the only one that has positive slope left over, because these two both have a negative in front of the x. But just to show you why, we can see it goes through -1 on the y-axis. That's why we've got -1 at the end here. And if we count up squares, up 1, 2, and then across 1, 2 divided by 1 is 2. That would give us the same answer for that one. So 6 and 12 also go together. Let me pick a different color this time. So looking at this one here, I can see on the y-axis, first of all, it goes through +3. So it's between these two. We can see this one ends in +3, so it's clearly going to be this one. But just to make sure, we can also see, if I use the intercepts here, I could actually say this goes down 3 and across 6. It just goes slightly off the edge here, which is -1/2, or probably better, just down 1 and across 2 would take you back to the line. So number 10 and number 1 would go together. Clearly that means that the ones that are left over have to go together as well, 2 and 3. Let's just check y. So it goes through 0 on the y-axis, so there's nothing on the end here. And I can see it's going downwards, which is why I've got negative slope here. And it goes down 1 and across 1. And -1 divided by 1 is -1, and that's what -x means. It means -1x. So the last ones, 2 and 3, also go together. So certainly remember the HOI and VUX for horizontal and vertical lines. Certainly at least check for positives and negative slopes, because that can certainly narrow down answers as well while you're looking. But focus on that y-intercept as well. That will be really important for you. That will tell you this number at the end that doesn't have the x that goes with it. Now the second part of this is looking at when you're given a slope and a y-intercept. So this is the next one that appears on Nearpod. So we have 6 equations that start with y equals. And then we have a variety of different ways that we can actually write these. So I'm not sure which is the easiest way to do this. I think we'll start with these and then we'll try and match it up. So when I see a slope of 3, I know that that means that I'm going to put an x next to that number. And then the number that's the y-intercept just goes by itself. So 3, I have to put something here. So as this is a positive 3, I put 3. Now this looks like the same answer. It's just written the other way around. So using my commutative rule, I can see that 1 and 12 would be the same answer. Let me move on to number 3. So -1, so that's my slope. So I'm going to put -1x. Once again, the y-intercept is 3, so I put positive 3. Technically, I don't need to put the 1 here, so I'm just looking for -x plus 3. And let's have a look around, see if we can see that answer. Here we go. It's written the other way around. So here is 3, and then here is this -1x. So once again, we have to use our commutative rule to make sure we put these the correct way round. Slope is -1, so once again, that will be that -1x. Really, it should be y equals. I'm writing for all of these questions. It's just not easy to write on my screen, so I've been cutting that out. The y-intercept is 7, so positive 7. So let's see if we can see -x plus 7. Here we go. So we don't really need the 1 here. So 7 and 4 go together. And this one's written slightly differently. This one says m equals 1/2. So I know that means y equals 1/2 x. Remember, m is our letter for slope. M from the word mountains, or really from the French montagne. And obviously mountains have slopes. So we use m to signify slope. Sometimes they'll write the word slope. Sometimes they'll just use m. And passing through the origin, that's the 0 point. So technically it's plus 0 here. But I'm not going to write this plus 0 down because that doesn't do anything. And notice that 2 and 5 are actually the same answer here as well. So let me put in, I'm not sure how many colors I've actually used here. I think I'm onto the triangle. Oh yeah, here we go. I'm onto the triangle for this color. And then I'll move on to blue. So once again, they've given us m here, so that'll be 3x. B is just your y-intercept, so -1. Really, it should be 3x minus 1, but you can see that this is the same answer here. So 6 and 11 go together. Obviously, we only have 2 left here, so obviously 8 and 10 must go together. So m is the one that has the x next to it. The other one is 7, and you can see they just switched it around using the commutative rule again. But 1/2 x plus 7, these would be my last 2. And as you do this on the nearpod activity, as you click 2 of the same, they're going to disappear, so you can see exactly which ones you've got correct. And that actually finishes it for the first part. Finding equations from lines. Make sure you recognize how to pick out information from a graph, and also make sure you understand what the m and the b are when you're writing the equation and the intercept.